morning. Sorry we're running just a little bit late. We've got a couple of changes that we had to take care of at the very last minute. Mr. Camardo, you have the invocation this morning.
Yes. Please bow your heads. Almighty God, we come this morning to thank you for giving us another day to meet and do good for the people we were elected to serve. We thank you for an earth that is perfect, a wonderful place to raise our families, and pray that all your children experience life as Americans can. Thank you for all who work to ensure our safety and the comforts we sometimes take for granted. Help us to make decisions good and proper as we seek your blessings. Amen.
Please stand, face the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I trust that everybody's had an opportunity to review the minutes, or are there any changes that need to be made to the minutes? All right, hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's approved.
You need a motion?
I'm sorry.
I move approval of the
Thank you
minutes.
for the motion. See, y'all got me thrown off this morning. Okay, we have a motion on the floor to do what I was talking about, so approval of the minutes. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you, Joe. All right, let's go to the discussion adjustment of the agenda. I think we have a change here.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, we've got two changes. One is the on item 3 under new business about the right of first refusal to the old Carver High School property. The Board of Education tabled that last night, and so we will need to remove that from our agenda here. It should come up at the next meeting. So we need to delete that as number 3. And I'd like to insert in its place they did surplus the property at Nahunta Fire Department. They're currently leasing that to them, and I'll go into the details on that when we get to that item, but we'd like to add that in its place.
Okay.
And he did confirm that one was approved and was surplus last night.
Very good, very good. Thank you. Are there any other changes to the agenda?
No, sir.
Any for the commissioners? Hearing none, someone make a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
We have a motion on the floor. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay. We have now, we'll move to the public comments. We've changed that previously from 9:15 to as soon as we can get to it, so that's where we are. So public comments are open. If you'll give us your name, your address, and phone number.
Yes, absolutely. Good morning, gentlemen.
And get 4 minutes.
Antonio Williams, 143 North Center Street, Goldsboro, North Carolina. It's an honor to see you gentlemen again, commissioners. I'm here in behalf of our citizens and our young people from Goldsboro High School. Last night we had our city council meeting and it was packed because people are very frustrated with the conditions that they're going through in the school. They don't have any books. They don't have things that they need in place. And I think that the council, the city council, as well as the commissioners, we have to come together. We cannot just throw it on the commissioners and we can't just throw it on the city of Goldsboro. So we have to come together, meet, and decide what we can do to better the school. From the parents that came out, they were very disappointed. A lot of the parents actually went to Goldsboro High School and they had books to take home. The kids don't have books to come home with. That doesn't make any sense. If we want these kids to do better, we want them to be part of this community, to make a difference in this community, we have to really do something to ensure their education. So I'm hoping that we can work on something, put a timeline together where we can focus on Goldsboro High School. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good morning. My name is Ravonda Jacobs. I stay at 1300 North George Street, Goldsboro, North Carolina. I've been mentoring at Goldsboro High School for the past about 5 or 6 years, and I've been a community leader where I actually do after-school programs for the children in my neighborhood for about the past 10 years. We're coming tonight because I went to Goldsboro High School last week, and when I walked in the school, they had an assignment where they were actually studying history to find out about the progressiveness of American history. And in that, they were to write newspaper articles. And some of their articles were titled, "The Miseducation of Goldsboro High School," "The Great Depression of Goldsboro High School," "Don't Write Me Up, Lift Me Up," "Is This School or Is This Prison?" "Where is the Love?" These are just some of the titles, and we have emailed all of you gentlemen a copy of all of those letters so you can examine them for yourself. But as a parent and a community citizen, we are asking that all parties come together. Goldsboro is about 60% African American. Goldsboro High School is about 95% African American. The disparities in our community is very serious. We are working as a community to do more, but we need those who are in leadership to take a hold of what we're actually going through. So we need you guys to take the time to really understand where these children are at and put proper funding to help them at Goldsboro High School. Some of the issues they had were the engineering school that is on the same campus as them. When you're at a school and you can look across and see other students with textbooks, laptops, security, all the great things, and you're sitting over here literally across the breezeway and you can't take a science book home, that makes you hopeless. So a lot of times you're looking at these students as if they're bad students. They're not bad students, they're hopeless students because no adult is giving them what they need to have the hope they need to go forward. So what we're asking for you to be very considerate when you're looking at Goldsboro High School and consider the students that are there. Not just policies, not just what people in the community want. We need to listen to what the students want and need. And they need innovative teachers. They need teachers who understand them. Parent-teacher relationships was a big issue. Another big issue was also the books, the curriculum. They don't have proper curriculum. They took all the vocations out of Goldsboro High School. Now I know they can go to Wayne Community, but they didn't tell a lot of the students that you have to have a certain GPA to get to Wayne Community to make those vocations. So wouldn't that be a little backwards? Because a lot of the ones who have the lower GPA are the men that's going to work with their hands, which would help crime in our community. Because if they had a skill, they wouldn't be out hurting people in the community. So we all have to work together as leaders to make sure we're ensuring that our students have exactly what they need as far as education curriculum. So we're asking today that you guys really look at your budget and how we can find the money to make sure that they have what they need. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else?
Morning, gentlemen. My name's Wade Latham, for those of you that don't know me, and I'm just here to formally introduce myself to the whole board.
If you give her your address.
My address is
phone number.
304 Tanya Drive here in Goldsboro, North Carolina. Again, to formally introduce myself as the newly elected chairman of the Wayne County Republican Party, I'd like to just take a moment to say it's an honor to be chairman. I'm definitely looking forward to working with the board for the betterment of all the citizens of Wayne County. So, other than that, again, thank you for giving me a moment to say this, and look forward to working with each and every one of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Latham. Anyone else? All right. Oh, you got one?
Hi, good morning. My name is Shaquila Rouse. My address is 1510 Maple Street. I'm standing as a alumni of Goldsboro High School. I graduated in 2009. I was also at the Board of Education meeting yesterday and the City Council meeting yesterday. And like they both discussed, we addressed a lot of issues that the parents and the students had. One main issue that I wanted to point on was adequate teachers that care. It has come to my attention since I've been there recently and mentoring, etc., that a lot of teachers that have been there for long periods of time have been transferred out of the school, and a lot of those teachers that are transferred out do not have adequate replacements. Another thing is that the students that are there, and the teachers that are there, a lot of the students are sitting through classes with substitute teachers the majority of the day. 3 of 4 of the classes are substitute teachers. So they aren't learning, as well as not having the books to take home, as well as not having teachers that have built relationships with these students. When you have relationships with the teachers, it establishes a respect, a trust. The students often need to know that the teachers, that they care. The students, a lot of these students, the majority of these students are with the teachers, are at school more than they are at home. And so it's really important that we establish relationships, not only with teachers and students, but also with parents, with teachers, with the community, with city council, with the Wayne Board of Commissions, because it really takes a village. It takes everybody to be able to make adequate decisions, to make adequate progress. And so we're really looking for everyone to get involved, no matter what it is that you can do or how you can do it. We're just looking for support. We're looking for feedback. We're looking for communication. We're looking for whatever it is that you can do to help the city, the students at Goldsboro High School, the parents, the teachers, the administration, the school board, and the city council. Thank you so much.
Ma'am,
Thank you, ma'am.
I need your name.
Oh, Shaquila Rouse. And-
Shaquila
Yes, ma'am.
Rouse.
Shaquila.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Anyone else care to speak this morning? Okay. Ms. Mills.
Good morning. I'm Shirley Edwards, 1766 Tommy's Road, fine county of Wayne, Goldsboro, NC. And I come to you today to affirm our Lenten season and the purpose of which it is. You know, it's because Christ died so that all of us could have salvation. And moreover, when Christ was in the world, he cared about the least of these. And I think that sometime in our society we forget the least of these. Our county does a great job of infrastructure, buildings, and the big picture, but there's a little picture that is being left out. And I come to you today in the name of Christ and as a citizen of Wayne to talk about that little picture that we leave out. Some years ago, we embarked on a quest to have orderly planning and development in the county, but somehow or another we didn't meet that goal, because in a city and a county where we have food deserts, there is no grocery stores in some areas for people to have fresh food and decent, clean food. There's places that people buy food that is not, the places are not clean. There are roaches and the dirty floors. They have to live like that, and they are citizens of this great county. Where I live, there's 5 grocery stores in 7 minutes of me. That's not orderly planning and development. And you may say, well, you know, I know that people decide they want to come here for the business, but our leadership has a role in that to help select and to ensure that in the county of Wayne that there is orderly, that all the citizens have the kind of things that they need, the decency of it. Just as we are doing that great agri-center, and I'm looking forward to it, there will be a segment of our citizens who won't take advantage of it, won't know how, because they won't have the resources to go there and have events or parties or attend lectures there, such as you and I will, because they don't have the resources. We have a problem with the hardcore unemployed. They don't have the kind of jobs they need. It is a role of government to see that all citizens, no matter who they are, have the opportunity for a good quality of life. We have got to address these populations. We are the government for the people, of the people, and by the people. And that of means all the people. And I would just say to you during this Lenten season, I want you to meditate on what I'm saying, and I want you to get involved in this process of your citizens and be cognizant of their needs. I know that you're humane. I've seen you do those things. But sometimes, as I say, in the big picture, we sometimes forget the little picture. And that's the factors that cause discord, crime, violence, and of like what these young people are talking about. They feel that they are not part of this county. They feel that they are left behind. And you're breeding these kinds of generational thought, and it's ungodly, and we have a responsibility to address it. Thank you kindly.
Thanks, Ms. Edwards. Is there anyone else who cares to speak this morning? Okay. Public comments, my section is a closed roll. Guess we're ready for our public hearing, the adoption of a resolution agreement for an existing industry.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Board of Commissioners. As the existing industry manager for the Wayne County Development Alliance, I'm coming before you today on behalf of one of our Wayne County industries, Case Farms Processing Incorporated. Case Farms is located at 330 Pecan Road in Dudley and is a poultry processing operation with separate par fry and marinating divisions. They have been in business here in Wayne County since 1995, and they have over 1,000 employees. Case Farm plans to build a $6.1 million wastewater treatment facility on their property on Pecan Road in Dudley to increase their wastewater treatment capacity. This will mean new capital investment and taxes and a tax base of $1,776,000 in real property and $4,324,000 in personal property. Case Farms also plans to create 3 new operator positions to run this new facility. The reason I'm coming before you today is to request approval of an incentive grant for Case Farms under the Wayne County Industry Incentive Policy. This policy was approved and adopted in 2015 in order to encourage industry growth within Wayne County. According to this policy, Case Farms would qualify for a level 1 or 65% cash grant back of paid property taxes over a 5-year period once the project is complete and once they have paid their property taxes. Of the $6.1 million estimated investment, the qualifying amount of this project after depreciation is $4,803,000. That amount multiplied by the current tax rate and multiplied by the level 1 percentage of 65% would result in a yearly incentive amount of $20,713 over a 5-year period. The total incentive for this project over a 5-year period is $103,565. Please keep in mind that these are estimates only and may be adjusted up or down once their actual investment is verified. I would also like to stress that after 5 years, the county will receive the full benefit of taxes paid on this facility by Case Farms. And over a 10-year period, that amount is estimated to be at about $162,000. And so today, on behalf of Case Farms Processing Incorporated, I am requesting you approve this resolution and incentive agreement to grant back a portion of their paid property taxes over a 5-year period in the amount of $20,713 per year. Thank you.
Since this is a public hearing, does anyone want to speak to what Tiffany spoke about? Commissioners have any comments or questions? Council, can we vote on this today?
Yes, sir.
Do we do that while we're in the, do I close the first? Okay, thank you. I thought so, I just want to be sure. There's no one that's going to speak, I'm going to close the public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to make a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I move adoption of the, as presented.
We have a motion on the floor. Is any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Gurley, appointment committee.
Mr. Chairman, the appointment committee met this morning. We'd like to recommend the appointment of Zachary Branch to the Wayne County Veterans Service Advisory Board. I'd like to put this form of motion.
We have a motion on the floor. Is any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous.
Next, we'd like to recommend the appointment of Mike Daly and Steve L. Herring to the Housing Appeals Board. I'd like to put this in form of a motion.
We have a motion on the floor. Is any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous.
And to back up on the Housing Appeals Board, Mr. Daly was suggested by Commissioner Daugherty, and I've got Mr. Herring to make applications, so we still need 5 more members on that Housing Appeals Board. If the other commissioners could search out, maybe help find us and get some more recruits on here.
Thank you.
We'd like to recommend the appointment of Charles Brogdon to the Wayne County Tourism Development Authority, and I'd like to put this in form of motion.
Have a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous.
Our last one is we'd like to recommend the appointment of Jennifer Wicks to the Wayne County Tourism Development Authority, and I put this in form of motion.
Have a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous.
That
Thank
concludes.
you. Thank you. And the consent agenda, we went over that. Actually, we got a proclamation. Is somebody gonna be here from Red Cross?
We have the unfinished one.
I'm sorry?
Unfinished.
I'm sorry, I just want to get through here. I checked that off by mistake. Okay, let's go to unfinished business. Thank you for correcting me once again. Motion to approve the building of the 911 call center, especially if we spent so much time talking about it. Mr. Wood.
All right. You have a memo in your packet on page 7. This whole thing is the one last issue we had. As you recall, you approved the schematic design. The one last issue was to what wind speed were we going to design this center. So the Facilities Committee has met and discussed 3 possible options. Option 1 is to design to the minimum that the North Carolina Building Code requires, which is 110 miles per hour. Option 2 is to design to a higher standard at 130 miles per hour. And option 3 is to design to the FEMA recommended standard of 200 miles per hour. In looking at what several other North Carolina counties have done, particularly at or near the coast, none had used the 200 mile per hour standard. The architect's estimated difference in cost is as follows. The 110 mile per hour would be estimated at $275 per square foot, 130 at $290 per square foot, and the 200 at $310 per square foot. So the 130 would cost about $178,200 more than the 110. The 200 mile per hour would be $237,600 more than 130, or about a little over $400,000 more than the 110. The committee felt that we'd be safe using the 130 mile per hour standard. Consequently, the committee recommended unanimously that the Board of Commissioners approve a wind speed design standard of 130 miles per hour. So that's the recommendation from the committee.
Mr. Raycock.
I'd like to put this in form of a motion that we move forward with the new 911 center and using the 130 mile an hour wind speed resistance for the building. I feel like that we compromised, and the building committee or the facilities committee felt like that, like Mr. Wood said, considering the other counties that's in the eastern part of the state that have built 911 centers, that we're basically up to what they were doing. So I'd like to put this in the form of a motion that we move forward with the 911 center at 130 mile an hour wind speed.
Mr. Raycock has a motion on the floor. Is any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Now consent agenda, and we did discuss this in the 8 o'clock session, and unless there's any need for any additional discussion, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
There is someone here from.
Oh, there is? Okay. Would you please come up? That's for the first, number 1, the American Red Cross.
Good morning.
Good morning. You are?
I'm Kimberly Barrier.
Okay.
I think you have it, right?
He does have the.
So we never discussed whether anybody's going to read it or not.
I'd be happy to read it.
Okay, you have a copy.
Thank you. North Carolina, Wayne County. Whereas Wayne County is celebrating 100 years of helping our neighbors in need, American Red Cross is a special time to American Red Cross Month is a special time to recognize and thank our heroes. There's Red Cross volunteers and donors who give of their time and resources to help community members. And whereas these heroes help families find shelter after a home fire, they give blood to help trauma victims and cancer patients. They delivered comfort items to military members in hospitals. They used their life-saving skills to save someone from a heart attack, drowning, or choking. They enable children around the globe to be vaccinated against measles, rubella. And whereas the American Red Cross depends on local heroes to deliver help and hope during a disaster such as the one we experienced last year with Hurricane Matthew and the resulting flood. We applaud our heroes here in Wayne County who give of themselves to assist their neighbors when they need a helping hand. And whereas across the country and around the world, the American Red Cross responds to disasters big and small. In fact, every 8 minutes, the organization responds to a community disaster, providing shelter, food, emotional support, and other necessities to those affected. It collects nearly 40% of the nation's blood supply, provides 24-hour support to military members, veterans, and their families, teaches millions life-saving skills, such as lifeguarding and CPR, and through its Restoring Family Links program, connects family members separated by crisis, conflict, and migration. And whereas we dedicate the month of March to all those who support the American Red Cross mission to prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies. Our community depends on the American Red Cross, which relies on donations of time, money, and blood to fulfill its humanitarian mission. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Wayne County Board of Commissioners, it is hereby proclaim March 2017 as American Red Cross Month. I encourage all citizens of Wayne County and all Americans to support this organization and its noble humanitarian mission, adopted this 7th day of March 2017.
As a former board member of the Red Cross, I served several years on it. If it's okay, folks, I'm gonna make a motion that we accept this proclamation as read. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. I want to thank you and your board for all the hard work y'all put in, because I know it's a lot of hours and a lot of hard work, but it helps our community so much.
It's definitely worth it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Go back to the consent agenda. We went over the budget amendments, and anyone want to discuss that any further? I thought Ms. Speck did an outstanding job to discuss it. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve, numbers 275, 278, and 334.
Motion on the floor to approve the budget amendments. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. On the new business, and I'm going to purposely do this, I'm going to skip down to number 2 because our presenters are here and I know they need to get back to work. So I'll allow them to come on up if there's no objection.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Gives me pleasure once again this year to introduce to y'all JR and Emily Odom, and they're going to talk to you about the We Dig It Ag Days, which is next Thursday.
I know you said somebody to get back to work. Are you referring to me or Kevin? We're
That's questionable. I don't know.
That's questionable. I understand. We're excited to be here and invite y'all to our 4th annual Ag Day.
It's going, like Kevin said, it's going to be next Thursday, which is March 16th. We'll be out there from about 9 to about 3. And we sure would love to have y'all come out. We've got a new station this year, so we're changing up our thing a little bit. We've been working with Wayne Soil and Water and then RCS to create a soil station, so I'm kind of excited about that. And we're going to have our big shopping cart there again this year, so everybody would love us to get up next to the shopping cart and try to climb up in it. And that's always a lot of fun, how you're going to get down. So we've got some good sponsors again this year. Smithfield was generous and donated our lunch bags. All the kids are going to get again. Southern Bank has come up. We've got a lot of equipment coming from local dealers. We've got Musgrave and ACOC and Quality and B&S are also going to donate equipment for us for the kids to ride around on and look at this year, just like they always have. So.
And it'll be a good day. I think there'll be close to 1,600 second graders there, and then all the FFA students throughout the county.
and the health occupations group from Goldsboro High School as well.
So we really try to bring everybody together and share our farm that day and have a good time and teach. We hope our goal is to, everybody leaves with something. And a little bit of education about what we do and why we do it. And it's just a great day.
I certainly enjoy going out there and watching those kids because many of them have never seen a farm. They have no idea where food comes from, as some of my fellow commissioners say. It comes from Food Line. I'm not pointing at you, Mr. Bell. But I would encourage everybody, if you can spend a little bit of time out there, it's worth every minute of it. So, any other commissioners want to chime in?
I just want to remind you that I've walked down the road to tobacco also, and I've used a flat shovel and a hog pen.
I second that.
I'll be there, I promise you.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much. And,
Appreciate y'all's support.
all right.
While I've got your attention, I did want to introduce a new staff member of ours. Jessica Hogan is our new 4-H agent. Wallace Simmons retired at the end of the year, and Jessica has come on board, and I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Like Kevin said, my name is Jessica Hogan, and I'm a native of Wayne County. I was a Wayne County 4-H'er. I started in the after-school program and graduated, and I joined the Honor Club, so I'm happy to be back in my county and teach kids what 4-H has done for me. So thank you for having me, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Glad to have you.
Thank you, and I'm going to go back to work.
It's about time. Okay, let's jump back to number one, Mr. Williams, the motion to adopt a resolution declaring an official 10.
Yeah, this is similar to others that we've done where we start the work before we issue the bonds on it, so that this allows us to reimburse ourselves from the bonds because they're intended to pay for this. So we'd make a recommendation that you go ahead and adopt this.
Okay. There's a recommendation from the county manager to adopt. Is there a motion on the floor to do so? Anybody? Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Everybody raise your right hand if you approve it. It's unanimous. And I'm going to let you go right into number 3 if you would.
Okay, as we noted, the disposition of Old Carver High School.
We're passing them around now.
Okay, that one has been dropped, and I hope we'll have that back on the agenda at the next meeting. What we've got now is the Nahunta property. Basically, what you have here, and you have a cover letter, I believe, from Mr. Parker that lays out the legal issues, and he sent this to Wayne. It's the community building at the Nahunta Fire Department. We have a deed recorded in Book 277 in the Wayne County Registry dated 1942, the deed from the Board of Education to the trustees for the Nahunta Women's Club. The issue is that deed was subject to a reversion clause stating that if the property was not used for a community building, the property would revert back to the Board of Education. Also, we have a copy of a deed dated July 8, 2004 from the trustees of the Nahunta Women's Club to Nahunta Volunteer Fire Department, Inc. This was a quitclaim deed from the trustees for the Women's Club to the fire department, but it had to have the reversion provision in the initial deed. So what we were looking at is the fire department needs to get that reversion clause out of there so that it does not revert back to the Board of Education. And so Borden is saying it seems to me the easiest way to have this property placed without the reversion is to have the Board of Education give a quitclaim deed to the county and the county give a quitclaim deed to the Nahunta Volunteer Fire Department, Inc. So what we're recommending to you today is, discussed it, Wayne and I went and met with the Superintendent of Education. If you look at the second page, this is a map of the property. you'll see there's a darkened area that was to the fire department earlier. The one next to it is the Nahunta Volunteer Fire Department, Inc. And so that's the property that we're speaking of. You'll also notice that it's up near the creek. If you go to the next page, there's the property again. And if you'll notice, a lot of the property is not buildable, plus it's only 0.59 acres. So the school board has no need for the property, the county has no need for the property, and the Nahunta Fire Department is using it in the community. So we would recommend that you quit claim any interest we have, as board is recommending, over to Nahunta Volunteer Fire Department, Inc. And again, so the schools have done what, they have quit claimed their interest, which would remove the reversion clause, correct? And then what we would do is quit claim any of our interest, which we've just gotten from the school board, over to the fire department, and that should take care of the issue.
So the school board's already voted on that?
They voted last night on it,
okay.
or yesterday afternoon, whatever their meeting was.
Mr. Pate, since I'm on the board at the fire department, I would ask that Mr. Mayo would make the motion. I feel it would be proper for someone besides me to make the motion.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I make the motion that we do the community building at the Nahunta Fire Department as presented by our attorney, Mr. Parker.
We have a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion?
I would like to make one comment right quick, Mr. Pate.
Sure.
This refers back to 1942, so this is, that's when the school was still there, and it was just a clerical thing that we needed to get cleared up. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Again, we have a motion on the floor. All those in favor, if you raise your right hand, please. It's unanimous this time. Okay, Mr. Witt, let's go to number 4 about the surplus property on South Slocum.
Okay, this is property at 103 North Slocum Street. You have a letter from Jimmy Rowe. Jimmy is the planning director over at the city, and as he indicated, Walter and Sandra Merritt have made an offer in the amount of $1,340 to purchase it. That's about half the appraised value. It's jointly owned by the city and county because we got it through a foreclosure. So they have to get our permission as a joint owner to do that. They're asking that you approve it, and of course we would split the proceeds. Behind that, you've got the property card showing the value. Next, you have a map that shows the lot. It's a little of an odd-shaped lot, but we would recommend that you accept this offer and agree to what Goldsboro is requesting.
So Goldsboro already has requested that we do that.
Pardon?
They've made the request.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have.
Okay. Is there a motion on the floor to sell this property?
So moved.
Whoever. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. You're still up, Mr. Booth.
Okay, the next one is disposal of interest in 204 East Elm Street. I was approached by the city manager about this. We own this lot. It is 50 feet wide by 250 feet long. It's at 204 East Elm Street. The city owns most of the property surrounding it, and they would like to acquire our half interest in this to expand their cemetery. I've attached the property card, property record card, a map of the lot, and a second map showing the lot within the general area so that you can see the proximity to the cemetery. We don't have any use for this property, and at 50 feet wide, when you apply the side yard setbacks, it's virtually an unbuildable lot. As you can see in the upper right-hand corner of the property card, the market value is $3,610. Our value is half of that, or $1,805. So my recommendation is that you deed our interest in the lot to the city at no cost so they can expand their cemetery.
Is there a motion on the floor as recommended by the county manager?
So moved.
Have a motion on the floor, any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. To the final part on number 6, if you'll cover that for us.
Okay, this is a day for surplus property. We have a resolution declaring surplus real property, authorizing its sale. You have the resolution in front of you. North Carolina General Statute 168-266 sets out the methods by which such property can be disposed, and 168-270C authorizes an electronic auction such as Gov Deals. What we're recommending here is that you declare this surplus and that the purchasing manager is hereby authorized and directed to dispose of the property using an electronic auction, in other words, Gov Deals. And in the case of property jointly owned with the city of Goldsboro, the local legislation passed for Goldsboro allowing negotiated sale for parcels that are unbuildable and suitable only as a part of one or more adjoining lots. And the said auction will take place at a date, time, place, and the terms of sale as advertised by the purchasing manager in conformance with 168-270. And attached to that is the list of the properties. Just wanted to point out for the public that the overwhelming majority of these are within the city of Goldsboro. Then we have one property in Fremont, 4 in Mount Olive, and then we have approximately 12 that are owned by the county only, so they're outside any corporate limits. So with that, we'd like to try to clean this up and get these properties back on the tax rolls, and because as y'all know also, we share with the cities involved keeping those lots clean and that sort of thing. There's actually a cost to us for keeping these, and we need to get them disposed of. Some of these are not buildable property. They're remainder type properties and may or may not be suitable for sale, but we're going to try to do all of them. The other thing I have for you on page 27, in case anybody's interested, and I've marked it up in yellow, that is the relevant statutes for you, 27 through 29 or 30 on your packet.
So you just need an approval of the resolution, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
To move forward. Is there a motion on the floor to approve the resolution declaring surplus real property and authorizing its sale?
So,
Got a motion on the floor. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Look through that. I don't think I missed anything else. Change. County manager comments.
I don't have too many. Obviously, we're working on the budget. The most important thing, at least from my perspective, is our assistant county manager starts work Monday. And I'm looking forward to getting him in here. We've been about 2 months now without an assistant manager, so we're looking forward to that. But Craig will be here. He'll start his duties on Monday. We will be having a meeting that day with all of our department heads to start going over some of the information on the budget, so he's coming in at the perfect time. That's the main thing. The other thing I did want to let y'all know is there's been some discussion recently about, is there something we can do about trying to get some of these creeks dredged, or not dredged necessarily, but a lot of the debris removed from them. We have found that there is a program that we can go, there's some money we can go after. I want to give a lot of credit to Ashley Smith with Soil and Water. She's taken the lead on it. Kevin Johnson's been participating from Cooperative Extension, and then Chip Crumper with our planning department. We filed a grant request late last week on that, so hopefully we will get some money for that. And we've identified, I had them go out and identify the creeks that are involved, and they are most of the ones in the southern end of the county. There's a few in the northern end, but as y'all know, we had most of the flooding occurs in the southern end. So, and if any of you would like to see that map, we'll be happy to show that to you in detail. It did include all of the areas that we were made aware of where people had complaints about debris. So now we just have to see if we're fortunate enough to get the money on that. We also will be doing the governor's office has issued a memorandum recently and it is in keeping with the state law that was passed late last year, and that is for us to do a resilient community evaluation. They will actually be, the state will actually provide consultants to walk us through that process. Our first meeting on that is tomorrow. We have included representatives from the various municipalities because it needs to be a countywide plan. So we've got that going on now. Chip is finishing up the hazard mitigation buyout grant application. As y'all know, before FEMA can consider which properties to buy out, the county actually has to aggregate all that information, give them all of the details, including photographs and all of that, and then we make the application. And we are up to over 300 properties that now are asking for a buyout. And I believe it's somewhere in the neighborhood of just under 30 that are requesting the elevation grant. Now, elevation is where they ask to have the building lifted up, put on, elevate the crawl space, and it has to be, our requirement on our FEMA regulations is we have to have a freeboard of 2 feet. And what that means is it's got to be 2 feet above the 100-year flood. So Chip has been busy working on all of that as well. He's also been working some on the broadband, and we'll be having a meeting shortly on that. We're working very hard with the Airport Commission, had about a 3-hour meeting the other night, and we're making very good progress on a number of things there, particularly trying to develop some corporate hangars. And we are going after grants there. We already have a grant for the planning. As soon as that finishes, then we'll be going after a grant to construct those, to construct the sites so that the sites are ready. But then we're looking at whether we would build or whether we would do ground leases and have the individual pilots build their own buildings. So we're working through all of that right now. The Odals project, as you know, you awarded at the last meeting, so that's moving forward very well. And we also got approval for the airport layout plan, which is the master plan for the airport that we have to do every 5 years. One thing I did want to report to you as part of the corporate hangar expansion, we originally were going to expand on the eastern side of the airport where the other corporate hangars are. Part of that process is we had to go through a wetlands determination. We've determined that quite a bit of that property is wetlands, and so we're going to an alternate site which would be on the other end of the airport runway. So W.K. Dixon is moving forward with all of that. So we've got that going. On MRAC, everything is still on schedule. I did want to report to y'all that we've had our committee that's been working on that, work with the architects over. We've had at least 2 meetings recently where we were looking at all the furnishings, what colors to use, carpet, samples, all of that. And we have that in the conference room for you to look at as well. So wanted y'all to familiarize yourselves with that. We're making very good progress on that. We're staying ahead of the construction schedule, making all those decisions in a timely manner. So again, everything's good to go on MRAC. With what you did this morning, the 911 center, the architect has already been at work on the finishing the schematic and everything, and now we'll notify him of your decision on the 130 mile per hour speed design, and then he'll have everything he needs to finish that up so that he can come back to you with full design documents and plans, and then we'll be ready to bid that out. Alice and I will be going to meet with the local government commission along with Davenport, our financial advisors, either towards the end of this month, early April. We hope to go out in the bond market sometime in April, and this will be for the schools and also what the remainder of what we need to get from MRAC. I think I reported to you, but I want to be sure we did. We got notified this last week from Tri-County Electric Membership Corporation. If y'all recall, originally, we went after two $1 million loans. They're USDA loans, but they are routed through the EMCs in North Carolina. And we've been working with Tri-County for well over a year. We applied for these monies. As you recall, they had already, USDA had notified them that we had already gotten $1 million, and then they added about 18,000 to that, so we were at $1,018,000. This most recent one, we got the second $1 million that we had asked for, and in addition to that, there's 300,000 more, which is a grant they give to Tri-County, and then when we pay that one back, Tri-County gets to keep that money for other projects in the community. So they actually provide them with like a revolving loan fund. But again, these are not grant funds, they're loan funds, but the advantage of them is they're at 0 interest for 10 years. So we have factored that into how we're going to structure our debt, and all that information has been forwarded to our financial advisors. But that is great news, and I just want to publicly thank Tri-County Electric Membership Corporation. They have gone out of their way to help us with this. Their board had to vote to approve this, and they've done so on 2 occasions, and their staff has been very cooperative to work with us, so we just want to say thank you to them. And now we're up to about 2.3, almost $2.4 million of loans because of their assistance and USDA's. So, and I think we've worked out everything as far as the lien and all of that. So I think that's kind of an overview of where we're at. We're working on a few other things, but those are the primary things. We are continuing to advertise for the MRAC director, and I'll get into that in more detail with y'all at a later date. I think that's it.
By the way, I want to congratulate you because your next job after you retire will be a grant writer. So I'll tell you, he spent hours and hours on that grant writing for that USDA loan. So I hope you save it for whoever sits in your seat when you do leave, so they can copy it again.
Yeah, anytime we submit something like that, we keep a copy because you don't know if you're going to lose it. So, thank you.
Okay, Board of Commissioners, Mr. Mayor, start with you.
In reference to Mr. Wood's comments on the clean out of the streams, I mentioned last board meeting that I had a couple of citizens that were concerned, and what happened is I did get in touch because with Ashley Smith directly, I mentioned to you, this had to do with Stony Creek. So, and it happened to be in the city. So what's happened is that Stony Creek, if we're going to clean it out, we really need to do it all. We don't need to stop.
Well, let me mention that. We're working in tandem with the city, and they will be going after a grant inside city limits.
Right.
And so, and Stony Creek is one of those that, as you said, goes through both jurisdictions.
Right.
So we'll be getting that done.
Well,
if we get the grants.
Well, my point is that the city of Bentley on these 2 properties that I was called about, took it upon themselves because in 2 days after I talked to Ashley, she sent an email out and got in touch with they were out there cleaning it out. So
good.
So, you know, the citizen called me and I said, look, it doesn't matter how it gets done as long as it gets done. But having said that, I talked to Kevin Johnson a few minutes ago. I do want to say something about the 4-H robotics because, and we're going to actually have a presentation probably the next meeting on this, but the 4-H robotics team has just completed their new robot assembly. And in Greenville competition in Greenville, North Carolina, a week or so ago, we won first place in that competition. So our company is a sponsor of the robotic team. This is a huge set forward for Wayne County. And Kevin and I are he's gonna do a presentation before the board, hopefully in the very near future. Real quickly, we had a Goldsboro Wayne Transportation Authority meeting. Everything is still going great. As long as fuel prices don't increase, we'll be in good shape. We also had a social services board meeting. I attended the transportation hot topic out at the event center, and I tell you, there's a lot going on in transportation. There's a lot going on, not only just in this county, but across the state. And so we also had a Jetport Advisory Committee meeting that we thought we were going to have to order breakfast, Mr. Wood, but
It went on and on.
very productive, very productive. Our Jetport, I'm proud to say, is setting in a position that it's never been in before. The opportunities are just unreal as to what we can do up at that Jetport. And we're having to shuffle things, and of course the county manager is right. Everything is in first gear when it comes to getting grants and things like that. That's what's so aggravating about the process, is that it just seems like forever to get it. But the key is that we have to be patient. The clients that's looking at getting a hangar or whatever from the county, we're really working with them, trying to make sure that they don't get impatient, keep them informed. So everything is going good there. So that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Mr. Quirk.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know we don't normally respond to the public that comes up and speak before us with their 4 minutes. I will start with the last person, Ms. Edwards. It's just interesting that her comments, although she was not here when I did the prayer, has a relationship to what she said. I'm only going to go back and read just a line or two of what I wrote down here. Because in the prayer, I thank the Almighty God for the perfect earth that we have. And also, I expressed that I wanted all of his children to experience what Americans can. Now, I've been taught, sort of in my biblical sense, that if you believe in it, speak it, and it will become so. I think the essence of some of what Ms. Edwards was talking about was, it is our duty, although it is not our sole duty as county commissioners, but it is our shared responsibility to try to make sure that every citizen that we come in contact with, and we were elected to serve Wayne County, would have an opportunity to experience some of what is available to most of us. And I didn't say to be acquired by most of us, because that takes a certain amount of money and availability. And so one or two of us have been to meetings that call for better grocery stores, and we've heard this conversation before. There's nothing like having a fresh opportunity for milk, a fresh loaf of bread, a cold soda. And in Mount Olive, it doesn't take me but maybe 5 minutes to get to a store and back to the house and still watch the program. So I have a great opportunity to live close by, an opportunity to get a fresh loaf of bread and some fresh milk. And whatever it takes in combination with regulations, guidelines, and I say this out loud because I would want the people who do the worker bees in the city and the county to look closely at the southern part of Slocum Street and places where there's not quite that same opportunity. That's what Ms. Edwards is talking about. So I just wanted to go ahead and give an uplift to that, because it is important that we try our best to serve all the public and make some of what a lot of us have easy access to reasonably accessible to everyone. The second thing that I want to say out loud is that I come from the vocational skill training area, and over the last number of years, I have heard more and more and more about what folks say our young people have an opportunity to access, but I keep hearing the same thing, so it doesn't seem like it's getting done. When I was actively teaching school, I taught small gas engine repair at Westover Senior High School in Cumberland County, and that was a program offered after 5 o'clock. It's 6 o'clock to 7:30 or some such hour. It was a 3-hour. And so I'm an advocate for the folk who can make it happen. And I hope Wayne community and anyone else who has opportunities for community-based education will try to put some skill training in the high schools after hours. Now, there are some enrollment problems that can keep it from happening during the school day. But if we encourage putting vocational skill training in the vocational arena at the high schools after hours, then it becomes a little more accessible to people who, number one, may have dropped out, forced out, or aged out of the regular public school, and therefore you get an opportunity to experience those things. And sometimes people are not going to take advantage of vocational skill training until they've been out of high school a little while and cannot find a job and want to find a way to make a living. So those things have to sort of get married together. I didn't know what I was going to have. I'm sorry. It's taking me a minute. Let me bring us up into February. I had an opportunity to go to several activities that had to do with Black History Month. And I was, every time you think that you're not going to make another one comes up. And then you realize how important that is, because it brings attention to sometimes things that have been overlooked. But I'll start off with this one. It wasn't specifically Black History, but I had an opportunity to go to the Steele Memorial Library several days ago. I'm sorry, I can't put the exact date on it, but they was presenting a reading session. And here's what was important about that one. The assistant chief in Mount Olive, a lady, was there, and we were talking, the conversation got around to children's behavior. And I've been in Mount Olive now since '85. And folk, I want to tell you, I have seen a marked improvement in the behavior of children that we just see walking the street, on the way to school. It's a marked improvement. And as I listen to this lady talking and the things that the Mount Olive Police Department is involved in, I think we can give a lot of credit to what we all talk about. And sometimes I wonder if it happens, but I'm proud of this, is the relationship between our children and how they're being perceived by law enforcement. And it sounds like in Mount Olive there's an improvement there. And so countywide, I want to say to all police departments, please remember to interact with our young people in a way that they can appreciate it. Not to be sanctimonious, but the adults have to take the lead sometimes, because children will always be children. We had a Black History parade in Mount Olive. I did not ride in it, but this time I sat on a porch and watched it all, and used my little camera and videotape quite a bit of it. It was very interesting. A lot of times it's as good to watch it as it is to participate in it, because if you're in it, you just see people. If you're watching it, you see all that going by. So I want to give a shout out to that. I did attend the Wayne County Planning meeting that I'm a part of back the last month, and I want to say out loud that this is my last meeting on that board. I've served on it 6 years, and I've been real proud of it, and I'm proud of the person who's going to replace me, Charlie Ward, and want to call his name out. Also, I attended a session a couple of days ago, a group called the Men of FIC, which is Faith, Integrity, and Character, and it's basically located in the southern part of Wayne County, but it's minority males that most of them are either my age or a little bit older and a little bit younger. But here was what was interesting about that one. For the entertainment, the name of the group was the Harmony Boys, and I'm going to apologize to them if I messed that up. But it was a group of harmonizers. They sang, they did a lot of old-timey spirituals and some harmonizing songs that you would normally find on, one time, long time you saw would have been on one of those jamborees on Saturday night. And so they did some little bit of bluegrass. But here was what was so amazing about it. It was one of the best cross-cultural activities that I had been to, because that hour and a half we saw a little bit of it all. We saw a traditional white band singing and playing, and then we had the opportunity to listen to a soloist, one of the prettier voices I believe I've heard. And then we had a good old-timey preaching session, and it was a speech, but it did turn into church in a way. And so in a moment, we had a chance to hear a cross-section of culture. And let me tell you something, we need to do just a little bit more of that, because we need to establish a little bit more of understanding of each culture that sometimes we don't experience. Thank you. I won't take up any more time.
Thank you. Mr. Daugherty.
I think you failed to tell us what you had for dinner. No comments.
Mr. Bell. Mr. Bell.
Okay. I met with East Point on the 28th of February, and at that meeting, we found out that, as I stated, I think the last meeting, that East Point did vote to merge with Cardinal Innovations. But I gave each of you a letter just to give you a little idea as to what some of the conflicts were between East Point and Trillium, Nash County, and all those people. Now, I'm not going to read this letter because it's a little bit too long, but I just want to make one point. Statute 122C-115 states what the Secretary of Health and Human Services will do when a group or a county wants to leave East Point. The previous secretary approved Nash County to leave. Well, that was the wrong step. He did it wrong. Nash County is supposed to get permission from the other 11 counties. That's the agreement that we all have. Each county signed that agreement and said before you can leave, you got to get approval from the other 11 counties. Well, they never did that. They never notified East Point that they wanted to leave. It went straight to the secretary, and the secretary approved it. So we have not been approved by the secretary, the new secretary, for us to merge with Cardinal Innovation yet. Hopefully we'll find out before April so we can get the thing done between now and July the 1st. But Trillium, for an example, and I'm not trying to badmouth them, they put out a lot of false information about East Point through the Wilmington newspapers and had everybody thinking that we were the worst people in the world. Now that's all came out and that's all the facts. But anyway, read this letter and you'll see a lot of information in there about what happened and why. One reason it's been taking so long. Nash County has not gotten approval yet, other than through that one individual that they can leave East Point. So I don't know what the deal's going to be there. So everybody read this letter, you'll find out a little bit about it. And we also have a consolidation agreement coming, Mr. Parker, that you asked me to get. It's going to be shipped down to us before April, hopefully. Tell you all about the merger. Thank you.
Mr. Take up.
I'm gonna make it easy on everyone. I took about 2 weeks off, and I kinda got used to it, so I'm just warning y'all, I might do it again. But seriously, I needed a few days off, and I appreciate the other commissioners and the staff and taking care of the county while I was out of place, but I don't have anything to report.
Was that a paid 2 weeks?
No, sir.
Okay.
But I would, but if that's in the form of a motion, I'll vote for it.
You see his face, pictures on Facebook, I think he went into deficit on his trip, where his wife took him.
Yeah, we did.
Mr. Gurley.
Just a couple highlights. The chairman and I went to the Livestock Association annual meeting last week and had a good number there. And many awards were given and a lot of recognition given to individuals as well as families. But one topic I'd like to mention is their scholarship program. They awarded 5 of our Wayne County High School students $2,400 each. And of course, you know, that goes a long ways with today's tuition market. But that's just one example of what the Livestock Development Association does for our community, and they're to be commended for that. And then the next day, the chairman and Mr. Wood and myself attended the Extension and Community Association's Achievement Luncheon, and that is the former Extension homemakers that I can always recognize so easily. But their theme this year was at the luncheon was growing our future with local food, and they too had a large number of people there, a lot of nice volunteers that commit a lot of time to that program, and they recognized some of the ladies with as many as 50 years of service to the Extension Homemakers Association. And they had their annual fundraiser on March 28th. It'll be at the Wayne Center from 11 to 1, I think it is. It's their annual little soup and sandwich dinner. It's always good. So I plan to attend and encourage everyone else to please go out and try to attend. Thank you.
Last week, myself and George and Joe Gurley, we visited with the CEO of the hospital, Janie Jaber, and I thought it was a very positive meeting. She wants to meet with the rest of the commissioners, and we got a hospital board meeting tomorrow night, so I'll remind her to see if she can set aside some time so we can arrange for everybody to get out there and talk to her. And it was a good meeting, I think. I did go to the East Carolina Workforce Development Board meeting last Thursday night. And the important thing that came out was we were talking about vocational ed and that kind of thing. And of course, we've had some of our frustrations with our advanced manufacturing center and getting it open. Well, Jacksonville and Oslo County and Jones County, and I'm trying to remember which other county it was that were getting ahead of us, guys. They are putting up a $5 million building in their industrial park that will be used for high school students to learn vocational trades. And they're working together to bust them in so that you have lunch and staying all day or how long are they going to have to stay. But this is something that's moving across the state, so we need to get ours running. And I hope there is a marriage with the community college and the high school schools so that all of them can participate in that. But that was one of the biggest things that came up in that. Had opportunity to speak at the Human Relations Banquet. That was last Tuesday, I believe. Days get mixed up. I really enjoyed that, and it was about unity and working together. And I think that's the only way that we can succeed and move forward as a community. Sunday afternoon, I had the opportunity to go to the Senior Citizen Center, and Mr. Wood was there, and Ms. Harper was there, and to together with Chuck Allen and myself and others who spoke, we gave it as a plaque from the county commissioners. That lady is 92 years old, and she's a ball of fire. She told me, she said, I'm going to retire now. And I said, you're just getting started. But she is really something else, and that senior center over there is a very nice place, and she and her family worked hard to get that thing up, and they are to be commended for doing that. And finally, something that I had just about given up on was our wireless broadband to the other parts of the county that can't do their homework at night because they don't have books, but they're either going to be going to an iPad and they won't be able to do their homework. We did get in 4 responses at the very last moment. And one of them I think is a very viable, it's very viable. I may be speaking too early on this, but because we haven't met yet with the people who made those RFIs, nor have we met with Chip. But it was encouraging to me because this is a project I think that needs to go forward in this county. Because, like they said, they don't have school books, and I think in 2 years, they're going to want to do without them altogether. Every kid gets an iPad. Well, how you going to do your homework if you don't have broadband wireless internet? I'm off of that. Through with that today. I think we do need to go back in closed session. Do we have time to do that and still make our appointment, Carol?
Mr. Chairman, if
Yes.
I could, I left out one thing.
Okay.
The sheriff and I met with representatives from Cherry Hospital this past week. It was a very good meeting, and I just wanted to correct something that I had said at a previous meeting. We were under the impression that we had quite a few situations where if they had problems of patients attacking their staff, then we ended up having to go over there. That is not the case. We were able to document that we don't have many of those. And in fact, their psychiatrist or psychologist actually comes to our jail at our request and helps us with some of our inmates who may need a psychiatric evaluation or a psychological evaluation. It was an excellent meeting. I think that the working relationship between our two staffs is very good, but I did want to correct that impression because we do not have that many instances of that.
Well, that's encouraging.
Yeah, it really is. And I would point out, they brought their police chief. They have their own police department there, so they do the investigations of anything like that.
Was that a word? Okay, I guess we need to go back to closed session. I'm sorry?
Mr. Chairman, you mentioned the sheriff. I don't think he would mind me making this statement. I had a conversation with the sheriff. He informed me that all of our inmates that were out of the county, he's got them back in county, so that bleeding has stopped. I think it needs to be, this board and the staff need to be commended on working on that new jail, and the sheriff getting things in order, and his staff, but that bleeding has stopped.
Good news. Anybody else? We go closed session.
Some conflict proposed county employee to consider the position taken on purchasing property and to consult with me to serve the attorney-client privilege.
Okay. Have a motion to go back to closed session. A motion before. Everybody stand up and do closed session.